Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 10th episode of the Renotalk show with your host, Mr. Zeno, who happens to be the editor from Renotalk.com as well. So today I'm without my cap and I'm wearing a shirt. The reason is because we have a special guest with us today. His name is Mr. Astley Ng. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Z. Thanks for having me. This feels like a radio show. Except that we're not on the radio, we're live, right?
Yes, we are live. We are deeply honored to have Mr. Astley Ng, who's he just want to be humbly known as a creative director. Yeah. But we will go through as we go about in our interview in this part of the show. So before we go on with our program proper, I just want to give a normal shout out again. Sorry, Ashley, just give me about 1 minute. For those of you who are joining us from the east and western part of Malaysia, thank you so much for joining us. For those of you who have any queries, suggestions, and how we can improve the show, please drop me an email at z@renotalk.com. For those marketeers and whatnot, thank you so much for your emails. We will definitely reply to your email. So now, let's begin. So today's show, right, I'm just going to ask, it's between an interview with Mr. Astley Ng, of course, the creative director. I'm going to ask him questions on how and what made him to who and where he is today. So that'll be an interesting journey. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. At the same time, you guys got any questions for him, please just send the comments below at the comments part lah. Okay, let's begin. Ashley, I think everybody wants to know this. First of all, I think let's break the ice. Tell me more about your background.
I'm actually in the industry as a creative director doing interior design specifically for more than 20 over years. Wow. In fact, in October this year, it will be my 24th year in the industry.
Wow.
So
wait. What makes you so certain that you're 24 years? You actually penned it down when you first started?
When I first started going, or rather into this career, I started off being an intern. So that was a specific. Of course, you remember your first internship, right? And you also remember the age that when you go into your internship. So I basically start documenting based on, or rather, I start tracking based on the start of the internship. So that's when I entered the industry.
Okay.
And then I have not left the industry since then. So that's 24 long years in the industry. So typically most people who go into internships are usually in the late teens, right? That's how old I am lah.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, what about your me personally, right? I'm very interested to know about your educational background. Were you like one of those maths whiz or those science geek when you were in secondary school, or how do you start like, your education?
Well, I think I'm a very typical Singaporean boy, and I go to school. I'm not particularly fond of maths nor science, but I'm okay with language. I'm okay with English. Chinese in primary to secondary school was okay lah, can pass lah. Probably you throw me in China, I'll survive lah.
We're gonna talk more about that in China. His journey in China. Okay.
The 强国. Okay. Anyway. But I was really good in art, and I've always liked art. And in fact, after my secondary school days, I went over to LaSalle and I was actually studying fine arts before I go into design. So I was a painter. So so that's my. So I love art so much that I went into painting, and it came to a point whereby I was in somewhat of a crossroads. I finished the course, and my mom said that, boy, art is good, but it should be a hobby. And if you're going to be able to sustain a livelihood and all that, you may want to consider something closer to design. So the challenge came for me to kind of go into another course lah. But I was at that age whereby I'm supposed to go to army and all that. So I decided to take a gamble, go and study. Go and try to get some kind of a scholarship. And then we spotted a competition, which is to design a public toilet.
This must be like what, not close to 22 years ago, 20 years ago?
20 over years ago.
Wow, okay.
So then after that, the public toilet design was actually organized by the Ministry of Environment and the then Society of Interior Designers Singapore. And I was the first student to win the distinction award. And mind you, I wasn't even in the interior design glass yet.
Wow,
So
okay.
so but I think at that period of time, right, if you have a very good artistic flair, I was exhibiting those things, and then they picked the winning entry based on that, and I got a scholarship lah. So that kind of reaffirmed some kind of a direction, like a calling, and I went into design.
Okay.
And of course, there were graphic. You know, typically, if you are in a fine arts major and then you study art and painting, it seems like almost a certain path that you go to graphic. But no, I didn't. I went into interior design. Mainly also because I felt that you know, if we could paint something and it's in a two-dimensional form, which is on a piece of canvas, and usually it's able to evoke a very strong emotional sense, and even really invigorate and enthuse people, then three-dimensional spaces should be able to do that. Because when I was studying fine arts, there became a trend of this art form called installation art, where basically
Installation art, yes. I think I heard of.
so
yeah,
you use an
definitely heard of it
environment,
before, yes.
right? You use an environment, and then you use art pieces, or rather you curate a space to tell a story, and that became the fiction that I was looking for in going to doing interior design. Of course, this sounds really kind of complex, but bear in mind, I didn't go into design thinking that I was a designer. I went to design thinking that I was a painter, thinking that I was an artist.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you know, of course, through the years, as I graduate and I come into the real world and I start to work, I conform to what the industry is all about, which is basically make ends meet, make money, and you know, when I went to army, I lost my girlfriend, so
okay.
so the thing I want to come out quickly and make money, and so that I can get another girlfriend. Those kind of, the agendas were all very different, and then of course it took decades, in fact almost like 20 years now. Then I'm able to kind of mature back to, and even maybe, you know, from a retrospective point of view, go back to those days where, you know, I was actually looking at design from an artistic point of view, and I think I am at that stage right now where I'm actually incorporating profound ideas and kind of complex stuff, but yet very relatable, because my spaces, the spaces that I build or my design, should be able to relate, invigorate, enthuse, and narrate. Which I think is very relevant in today's context, because people are looking at going to spaces and finding experiences, something that's insta-worthy, finding something that has a strong narrative, not just visual spectacle, and I think it's very relevant now.
Wow, thank you so much. I just wanna point out, guys, that Mr. Ashley Ng did actually have actually achieved a lot of things. I'm just gonna show you just one very quickly on his website in SCDC. Do you mind? You don't mind, right? This one. So guys, just check this out. This is him. He's the founder of SCDC. Perhaps I'm gonna ask him just a little bit on the SCDC. Then he also got his own website, which is at www.astleyng.com. And I particularly like this picture. I thought it's really nice. And his motto, which we will talk a bit more later, perhaps, it is called "Design is Intelligence Made Visible." So actually, thank you so much for being humble, you know, I kind of like it. But what inspires you to be what you are today? Is the interior designer? You mentioned about you being the practical kind of designer, where you want to make ends meet and whatnot. But was there like a figure that actually inspires you to like be okay? Actually, you should be an interior designer because you can make lots of money. Was there like any influential figure in your life?
I think at different phases you have different mentors and different role models.
Yes, okay.
There will always be some very aspirational ones, people that are very far and out of reach. And then there will be people that are closer to you, that are probably on a day-to-day basis motivate you. Like for example, if you are a junior or junior employee, and then of course your manager should inspire you, guide you, mentor you and all that. But these kind of mentorship will probably, like what I say, make ends meet, help you grow on that level.
Yes.
But if you want to kind of get out of your current box or your frame, you need to have bigger aspirations. So it's very much like having a vision. You need to cast your stones a little bit further and think about what you want to do on the later part. Of course, when I was in my 20s, I wasn't thinking about things like that. You know, I had a certain amount of salary. I was thinking how I should spend it. You know, how I should get slosh here. You know, on weekends I should get slosh and then go out party and stuff like that. I wasn't thinking about a lot of other things.
Don't do sloshing, guys.
But these days, right, once you kind of like got certain things fundamentally addressed, right, then aspirations come in, and at this age, probably I'm enjoying the probably because people are also attaching certain credibility to age. All right, and maybe of course with the background and exposure in my work, they're also giving me the opportunities, more opportunities, or more they're more willing to trust, and that makes a lot of difference in my line of work right now. Because I mean, imagine right now if I'm a 20-year-old trying to talk about designing experiences, or I'm trying to tell people that I'm multifaceted. People may not be convinced that I have the breadth and depth to my work, and then then the other thing, of course, is the exposure that I may not have, you know, or lack thereof lah. So I'm kind of really enjoying the current age and the experiences that I have, and I've been involved with many different roles. I've played a CEO role. I'm currently playing a CDO role.
Okay. This is the part where he'll tell about his achievements lah. So just listen.
Yeah, well, they're not.
Just mention everything lah. We want to know. Okay, look, I'm just gonna say live on air. I hope you don't mind. But you're also the vice president for the
Society of Interior Designers.
Yes.
So that's the cool thing. Remember when I started out saying that I chose the path of being an interior designer by winning a competition, and that was organized by the Society of Interior Designers Singapore.
Wow,
so
you're the vice president.
like, you know, it took 20 over years, right? Somewhat come full circle to that. Then I'm still, you know, as a member of the Society of Interior Designers and contributing to the industry. And I think that's not just all. Today we shouldn't just brand ourselves within the framework of being an interior designer. I think in today's context, right, we need to kind of like know more about design other than just our type of work. So I kind of call myself a creative director, and I do experiential design. That means it's multifaceted. I deal with graphic, I do media work, I also do virtual reality work, I do branding for people, I do branding for companies.
VR. I hope I can just talk a bit more about that, but that will take about another episode. So let's not talk about VR. Just touch a little bit on VR, because I guess that's very millennial kind of thing right now. Just a little bit on VR.
I think people associate VR with wearing goggles and all that.
Yes. I mean that's my perception of it, my impression.
It is immersive, but it's very intrusive. Meaning that you have to kind of get into the whole mode and all that, wearing the goggle, and it's still connected. It's very connected with wires and all that. So it's not on the go. But when the kind of cross between all this, or probably the more palatable and receptive one, will probably be AR, which Pokemon Go is a very good example. Yeah. So and then in China, for instance, a lot of my peers are actually using VR when they're doing a presentation, the VR of their home or the space project, or rather the spaces that they design. It's in their handphone. So what happens is that pass the handphone to the client, and then the client actually does this, you know, look up, look down, and then they can basically see the whole project via that way. So the handphone is everyone has a smartphone, right? So after that presentation, right, the client gets to download the QR code, which he could scan at any time and go and review the project again in that manner. So I think that's very easy to adopt. You don't need to put on any goggle. Everybody has a smartphone now, right? And then at any one time you can go in and see, zoom in, zoom out, look up, look down, and kind of find the little things that you like or don't like about a project and make comments. I think in the realm of going green, that is digital prototyping. VR for our industry is more like a digital prototyping. You don't build something and then only to wait for the client to go in and say, oh, this is not nice, this is not right. But if you could make something that's so realistic, and you could be inside that space and using, or rather viewing and exploring the space, and come to a conclusion what you like or don't like, that's another form of prototyping, isn't it? You know about what you don't like, and then you can tell your clients, tell a designer to change the flooring, change the walls, change the finishes, so on and so forth.
Wow. I'm just gonna cut you short there. You mentioned your peers in China. I'm gonna ask him about his experience in China and what he has done in China and what he has achieved in China. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to check out this video on Mr. Ashley's endeavor in China. Please do check this out. Okay, we are back to our faces. So as you can see, that was in. Just let Ashley tell you more about it. Well, hold on. Before that, right? Ashley, correct me if I'm wrong. But the reason why you were there because you were recently just appointed the brand ambassador to Hisense. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Hisense.
Hisense China, right?
Yep.
Centralized icon systems at the first quarter of this year, 2019.
That is correct.
Please share more about your appointment and particularly about that video. Yeah, I think you were sharing a little bit more about, with me about the fog thing and all that. Why don't you share with our viewers? Thank you.
Okay, so I became the brand ambassador for Hisense. Hisense is an appliance company in China. Their background is actually refrigerators, and then they went to TV appliances. They have smartphones even, and then they have air conditioners.
Global presence, right, Hisense?
Global presence. In fact, last year's World Cup, I think it's last year.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
They were the main sponsor. So they kind of kicked out Sony, and then next year's Euro Cup they are also the sponsor, main sponsor. So Hisense is quite well known in China. They're essentially a Qingdao government-owned company, and they do developments as well. So it's actually quite a honor to be representing them as a brand ambassador.
Okay.
So it's kind of humbling as well because it's almost like humble bragging, but I'm also the first Singaporean to be doing this brand ambassador, and I joined JJ Lin and Sun Yanzi.
And I'm sure I'm not the first one that interviewed you, right? I'm sure the media is, the mainstream media is
in China.
Yeah.
Wow. So one of the comments they say that you joined Sun Yanzi, JJ Lin as the other Singaporean to represent a China brand, but I'm not a superstar. I'm not a singer. I cannot act. Cannot dance.
Wow.
So what am I good at doing is basically I advocate design, and I specifically want to talk about green. And I think sustainability is something that's very close to my heart, and I've been researching about going green for the last 10 years. And Hisense picked that up, and that's one of the things that they wanted to kind of align themselves with. They want to find KOLs, key opinion leaders in the market that they could align with to spearhead green movements and how to go green. So
particularly in China.
particularly in China.
Okay.
So they decided to do a commercial. And commercial is not just one. There are a series of talks and seminars and road shows that I'll be doing with them for this whole year, particularly in China. But once Euro Cup happens next year, I will also be joining them in Europe.
Are you supposed to reveal this?
It's
okay. You hear it first at the Renotalk show. So yeah, then tell me more. Tell us more.
So in the Euro Cup, I will also continue to represent them as a brand ambassador. But the series of talk in Europe will be about going green as well, and how we are, because our intention is to build a experiential center in Qingdao, which is green. There's a mock-up, and we'll probably bring that to Europe as well and share more to the people in Europe while we go and watch Euro Cup.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting, right?
I only can say congratulations. If you talk about China recognizing you, that means you are technically talking about what? Half of the world recognizing you? I mean, they have the most populous nation, right?
Was it 2 point something billion?
2 point something billion, but let's not go there. Wow, actually, congratulations.
Thank you.
When you were there, you also received an award.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go to this question very quickly. So, do you see an interior designer receiving award as a step up in their competition, as a step up in their career? You have already received an award in China, which is on a global stage. How do you see other interior designers, standing out in the competition from your point of view?
I think I have most recently made a statement about this in my own Facebook. Is that I think in the realm of ideas, enthusiasm is a key driver, and then in the real world, the real world, basically, you have to have perseverance. I think the fact that I stayed in the industry from internship all the way to now, it's about 24 years. It's a very clear statement about my beliefs in persevering in my craft. And many times I thought of quitting, but I went back to this. Not because, to be honest, it may not be because of perseverance, maybe because I was just reluctant to change. I was afraid of the unknown. But some forces pulled things together, and then somehow, when I started to see better results, it kept me on track. But I think we are facing a huge challenge right now. The world is a global stage right now. Yes. It used to be we just need to excel in our neighborhood, in our community, in our country.
Yes,
but
very well said, yes.
that has moved up.
Yes.
And now on a global scale,
the world is smaller, so to speak. Am I right? Yeah.
And your relevance is questioned. In this basically throws us off our comfort zone, and we have to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Wow, okay.
So I have to learn.
Wow, that's a really good quote. I think you can quote that.
I think that's from a gym.
Yeah,
I saw it somewhere when I was trying to trying to lose weight.
Wow.
Okay, so being comfortable, getting uncomfortable, is I think very relevant in today's context. We face competition from everywhere. Gone are the days where your competitors is just someone who is also doing the same industry. Yes. Like I mentioned that my background is actually in interior design, but I'm doing graphic work as well. We're doing media work as well. We have filmed drama serials. We have done advertisement. I've done explainer videos like YouTubers and all that. So these are things that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, those are virtually impossible. The price of a camera, to set up a crew to do a live talk show is also impossible. But that's a challenge.
Yes, live talk show. Yeah, right. Which brings me to my next question, which is related to whatever to all the things that you have just mentioned. How do you remain creative in this field, in this world? You have this website here. Do you want me to flash it up?
Yeah.
Or you wanna mention?
I think that's just an article in China, and the article is actually about me in using experiential design, or actually elaborating on what experiential design is. I'm particularly happy about the way the reporter wrote this, even though I'm not very good in Chinese. But the way she manifested my ethos was that there was one particular passage where I was talking about how you could design a space for a blind person. Okay. Now, if you were to design a museum for a blind person, the typical way that we would manifest will probably be thrown out the window, because typically what we'll do is we'll want to put a lot of colors, lighting, and a lot of visual spectacle. But when it comes to designing for a blind person, all the norms that you are accustomed to is thrown out the window. You have to look at how you could provide texture, sound, even guide via bumps on the ground, even textures on the wall, and all these just basically challenges the way how a designer should think. And when I was talking about that, what became very clear is that I was focusing on the key word, which is what all designers should have: empathy. A deep-rooted sense of empathy for your client's requirement. It's only when you truly understand that and truly embrace what your clients really need, then can you produce good products. Form follows function, and that basically means you have to resolve all your functional aspects first before you could derive the form. So form is not as important as what the purpose of the space is supposed to do.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ashley. So if you guys want to read more on that article, you guys can go to www.pchouse.com.cn. That's where you can read the article. I guess from there, then you can you can challenge yourself in a creative sense by going through all these stages and challenges that you meet and face. Wow.
I think right now what's most challenging is the next wave of like the 5G movement and all that. What is 5G in the real world is that people with all this spying talk, right?
Yes. Okay.
To us,
it's sensitivity, but let's not go too deep into it. Okay.
Won't be too deep.
Yeah.
What it essentially is about artificial intelligence, right?
Yes.
And if you take the artificial intelligence portion of it and place it into spatial design, is that it's not about artificial intelligence designing our spaces. It's more like how artificial intelligence gets incorporated into our spaces.
Okay.
For example, this building that we're in right now, if AI is integrated into this space, it will be able to think, it will be able to grow, and more importantly, it will be able to breathe. Why? Well, if it knows how to think, you'll be able to know that the internal air quality of the space could be kind of polluted or contaminated if someone is sneezing non-stop. And then it starts to think that this is not right. I need to open up the windows or create the ventilation louvers to purge this bacteria out of the property, and then basically bring in newer, fresh air into the space. So this is the thinking portion, the reaction portion, and then the solution portion. And this is the AI that we're talking about. In short, there are many such components. There's even this, what we call circadian lighting. I'm not sure whether you...
Circadian lighting.
Circadian lighting essentially is about humans and our cycle, our rhythm, our natural cycle. If I throw you into a room right now with no windows, no way of knowing time, based on your body clock, you know when to sleep, when to wake up.
Yep.
Like, this is called a circadian rhythm. Now, we are humans, because of artificial lighting, we throw our circadian rhythm out of the cycle, and then this disrupts our rest, and then this affects our health. Again, if a space has the 5G component, the AI or the IoT of
Internet of Things.
Yeah, Internet of Things incorporated in such space, right? People think and tell you, or rather warm your light accordingly as the sun starts to set, and let your body goes into a slightly restful mode so that you'll be able to rest well and then be rejuvenated the next day. This is very important today because in the way that we've been using our smartphones, our tablets, and our computers at work, we are actually being introduced to a lot of blue light. And this blue light stays with us, and it puts us into a very high stress mode. Now, it sounds like very health mumbo jumbo, but it's not. It's green. It's about sustainability, and this just basically means that there's a lot more.
All goes back to whatever you are concentrating on, which is sustainability and green. Wow.
But the best thing is all these should not be mentioned. All I want to do is that if you go into a space, and you'll be able to feel the effects as opposed to I have to explain to you that these are all the components, and I think I feel as an interior designer.
Wow.
Good design should be felt and not seen. It's not meant to be that way.
Another wonderful quote: good design should be felt and not seen. Wow. Okay, guys. If you guys want to find out more, the Renotalk.com also cover articles on whatever is going on in the home and lifestyle industry, particularly like what Ashley just mentioned, 5G. I wrote a very short article about it. If you guys want to find out more, please go down to Renotalk.com/articles. and find out more for yourself. There are many other articles of other topics as well. Thank you so much, Ashley, for your time. I just have one more question, please. Just one more question. Thank you so much for your valuable and expert input. Just one more. Okay. In your life, do you have like a motto or a universally accepted principle? If you can just share with us. Just one. A motto, some advice that you cling on to, as you grow into your journey as a creative director.
I think I have one today. I have many every day, but I have one today, and I think it's just something to kind of inspire the people out there. Is that how bad do you want it?
And particularly also for the new upcoming interior designers, what kind of motto should be?
Oh, I just said it. How bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Okay, very deep, very profound. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just blown. I tell you, if I just wish that we could, we could be talking for like more, but I'm afraid, time doesn't allow us time doesn't permit us. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Ashley Ng. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Guys, if you guys want Mr. Ashley Ng to come into our show again, please drop me an email or just comment. If you guys want to find out more, just Google Ashley Ng at Google. You'll definitely find more information about him. Yes. Oh, you want to mention about this event that's happening in Saturday? You want to mention about that?
Saturday there's World Interiors Day, and it's actually going to be happening at Astley Hub. World Interiors Day is actually an event that is actually created by the International Federation of Interior Architecture and Designers. IFI for sure. Yeah. And so it's basically a day to celebrate all interior designers in the world. And so we've come together to kind of curate an event where we have a host of speakers and designers talking about
in the industry.
Yeah, and they'll be sharing about their projects and their know-how, tips and tricks, and so forth. There'll even be a forum by the council members of the Society of Interior Designers. Wow. So please come.
Are you going to be there? You're definitely going to be there. Will you be speaking?
I'm not going to be speaking. There are other speakers going to be present. I'm just going to be heading over for the dinner. Okay. And I hope to see you guys there.
Okay, if let's say participants want to sign up, where do they go to? www.
Yeah, they can go to our Society of Interior Designers Facebook page. There's a link there. The website is www.sid-singapore.org. You can also go to the Facebook page as I mentioned. Yep. And just basically Google SIDS or Society of Interior Designers.
Or go down to Renotalk.com, Renotalk's SG Facebook page. It is there. Yep. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it has been fun on hosting this show. Personally, I enjoy it. There has been a 10th episode with my guest of honor, Mr. Ashley Ng. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much for joining us. See you at the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.